Welcome. This is our first segment of Lunch and Learn with Lori and Lori. I'm sure you're familiar with the trending hashtag Lunch with Lori. Well, we're going to just take it another step and add another Lori and add a little learning, right? So I'm Lori Highby, president and owner of Keystone Click. Lori, why don't you introduce yourself?
How you doing? This is Lori Rifkin from Clarity Management and Lunch with Lori. I am a retooled CPA who is now a network guru. I help a lot of people in networking, making connections, and Clarity Management helps a lot of companies in tough times like we have right now with the virus.
All right, so today's topic is going to be how to retool your business to survive after the virus is gone. There's definitely a lot of things about what to do now, but you also have to be thinking forward. So you ready to get started?
Yes, we are.
All right, let's do it. So let's start with just in general, what general advice would you give to business owners who have now gotten some sort of a disaster loan or are in the process of applying for one right now?
The first thing I would tell them is once they get that money to stop, not spend a dime, and really think of a plan of what the best use of that money is going to be, whether it be retool their business, retain key employees, or even go after new markets.
So why would you say that?
Because it's too easy to get a bunch of money and spend it. In my career of helping a lot of companies who have been in a cash deficit mode, when a big influence of money comes in, the money usually gets spent without a lot of thought. And this time we could have a second round of the virus where you might need that money to come in handy again. So it's something you just don't go out and rush and spend every penny you get. Think about how you're going to use it strategically to make you more money in the future.
So any tips on how to do this or like building out a plan? I mean, I feel like this should, to some extent, how every business should be functioning, right? With having a plan with their money. So I'm sure you see a number of clients that need some help in that area.
The first thing I'm having right now, all my clients do a 13-week cash flow. And what that does, it looks at all the cash coming in and all the cash going out of your business. And it tells you during the next 13 weeks, week 4, we're going to be down 25,000. So we better do something in week 1 per 3 to prepare for that. So the first thing, by knowing what your cash situation is going forward, it gives you a windshield into what's going to hit your business. The second thing is writing a dirty, quick operating plan like you're a startup. You got this money, your clientele has changed, maybe the market has changed because of the virus. You need a little plan to say, here's what we're going to do. And the third part is making a mini budget with all your expenses as a source of revenue to show what you expect the new reality to be for you.
So I imagine a lot of people are just going to be excited to be back to whatever the new normal is, because I don't think we're at the new normal yet. We're in transition period yet, but there's definitely going to be a new normal. And it sounds like you're advising against jumping right in. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
Yeah, really, because it's a great opportunity to retool. And what I mean by retooling is looking at, do I need all my employees? Do I have the right employees? Which customers make me the most money? Which customers lose me money? What lessons did I learn the last 3 months? You need to take all that and come up with a new business plan. Maybe it pays going forward not to have that customer as a pain in the butt. And maybe you saw during the shutdown, there's an example for restaurants. Takeout business was less costly. Maybe we make more money. So instead of having 70% in-house dining and 30% carry-out, maybe you want to go forward and have 70% carry-out, 30% in-place dining. Go to a smaller place, have less rent, and make more money.
Okay. Specific industry example, it's a good one. And I know you talk about having a goal of 3 months cash on hand for businesses, and that just seems like an extremely lofty goal for a lot of small business owners. How do you recommend they achieve that goal?
In the 40 years of dealing with small businesses, I find a lot of people spend money on things they don't really need. You got to cut things out. A lot of people don't look at watching every cost. If you leave the place for an hour, turn off your lights. If you leave the place overnight, turn down the heat. Those little things over a period of time really add up Do you really need that extra employee, or is it better to give everyone a little overtime? There are ways through nickels and dimes and quarters to build up some reserves over a period of time. And that's really important because there might not be a bailout the next time, and you might have to learn to survive on your own. You look at people who survived the Great Depression and stuff, people found ways of cutting their costs and getting down to the basics. They didn't like it, but at the end they accepted it.
Yeah, I agree. And this is actually something that I know myself and a number of other businesses are doing now, is evaluating the cost. But really what you're saying is this is something you should be doing consistently throughout your business.
Every single day.
Expenses. Is this something that's going to help me make money, or am I just spending money right now, basically? So what about identifying the types of customers that are going to generate the most revenue? Can you go a little bit deeper in this question?
Sure. And a lot of customers I walk in, they will tell me that customer X makes them all the money. When I dig through and look at their books and then say, well, customer X returns 25% of what they buy. Customer X chews up 10% of our customer service person's time, but only 3% of our sales. There are customers who look great, but don't make you money. A great example is a lot of my smaller customers, they want to have a Walmart or a Target or a big box store like Costco as a customer, not realizing the demands of those customers could bankrupt them.
Mm-hmm.
My mantra is find customers that generate good gross profit dollars after you assign some expenses to them. Those expenses are returns, customer service, delivery. The dog's barking because it's delivery business there.
The joys of working from home, right?
Yeah, working from home. But all customers are not equal. Sometimes customers you don't think are making you money really are. Those are the customers who order, don't argue about price, don't return stuff. You might want to find 10 of those versus one big box store.
Mm-hmm. So how does someone really dive into, like the time? I mean, I know I'm doing this for my business, but some smaller businesses that haven't been around for a while, these might be new concepts. How do they figure out where's the time being invested and what is the true profitability that we're generating from these clients?
The first thing I would tell them is you got to have some kind of back system, whether it's QuickBooks, a point of sale system. You need to be collecting some data. Mm-hmm. You could do this analysis from gut feel, but I found when it's an emotional analysis versus a fact-based one, you don't get the right answers. Mm-hmm. So you got to invest somewhere along the way. We already have a system. I find a lot of people have this system, but they haven't taken the time to even look what's in the system. So I walk into a lot of places, start going through their data and come up with a lot of called key performance indicators, profitability by customer, number of sales to a customer, average order size, and using the data that they have in their system, they haven't mined, I come up with a profile of good customers and bad customers. And then it's really up to the owner to make the hard decision, getting rid of bad customers and chasing more good customers.
So you're saying get rid of, people that are paying you money to some extent.
That's right, because if a bad customer makes, say, a 30% margin for you and a good one makes 40%, I will find 3 new good customers and get rid of the bad one. Mm-hmm. And that's important to do because you should always be looking to add good new customers that meet your profile, and you should always be getting rid of the ones that don't meet that profile.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now, today, it's definitely not it's not being pushed to sell. You should really be focusing on helping, but one of the things you do want to do is try to keep that funnel filled to some extent. So it's probably a little bit more challenging to find that one that's going to bring in that 40% margin or whatever, that ideal customer is. Any recommendations on how to do that during the new world?
Most people find this counterintuitive, but during times like this is when you got to double down on your marketing. You really should be looking for customers that have to leave another business because they're shut down right now. This is a great opportunity if you have your marketing game going well, mm-hmm. to pick up customers from your competitors who might be in their own series of problems right now. Sure. So this is a time you double down, you look for new customers, and you will find them because they're out there. Because people are impacted. Say New York City is shut down and you have a competitor there, they can't answer their phone today. You can. This is a great time to pick up customers.
Sure. Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I think this is more important now than ever to be consistently communicating with your audience. Not selling, just being a resource, being present, letting them know that you exist. And if they've got the pain, they're going to come to you because you're adding value to their network. So when you're talking about getting rid of a client, how do you do that? How do you fire a client?
I have found the best way to fire a client is raise your fees, because sometimes X% will pay you more money and turn from a bad client to a good client.
Okay.
So I'm in the mantra, let clients fire themselves. You control, that's the airline industry. They control how many seats they sell by changing the price of that seat during time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at your business the same way. If you have customers that are such a pain, raise your prices, because you probably will get a decent percentage who will pay that higher price, which is something else I've learned. Most smaller businesses underprice themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If they really, I'll meet a small business owner that says, we do great customer service, we do this for our customers, we do that, and yet they price like a discount place. If you really bring value to your customers, they'll pay a little bit more money. Price your product right.
That's great. I think that there's a lot of truth to that. And pricing is probably one of those areas where I agree with you, most business owners struggle, is to really figure out what their true value proposition is and the dollar amount associated with what their deliverable is.
I will tell you from experience, when I raised my prices, I got more business, because there's an implied value that if you do charge more to your competitors, and you really do, this is the key, you really have to have that value add, go out of your way. There is a group of potential customers who will pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find that group and be in that group, and then you're going to make more money and have happy customers too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So I think that's all I've got right now. Any other final words of advice with regards to retooling your business to survive after the virus is gone?
Yes. Number one, whether it's me or someone else, get a mentor who's going to be a long-term partner with you. I'm not a coach. I'm not a coach on a skill. I'm a long-term mentor for my customers. I want long-term relationships with them. I understand their businesses, understand their families, understand all the dynamics. Find someone like me for your business, because you will need that. Things aren't going to remain the same. Things are going to change, and you need a sounding board, a non-emotional tied person to be a sounding board to help you get through this. That's the number one thing I would tell people right now.
Nice. Well stated. All right. I think that wraps it up for our first episode of Lunch and Learn with Lori and Lori. Look for us on a weekly basis.
Thank you.